The price of Bitcoin briefly hitting the $93,000 level before pulling back. It's up more than 150% this year. Let's talk about the crypto market and bring in Matthew Siegel, head of digital assets research at Van Eck. I thought, Matt, that it was definitely long in the tooth, this sort of mania. You say there's, at least for your work, that you don't necessarily see that yet in terms of whether it's totally overdone?
Joe, we think it's just getting started.
So, what's up, YouTube? FD White back with another episode of FD White Invest. Welcome to the channel, man. Welcome to the channel. So we're not going to play that whole clip, but I'll just give you a rundown. Van Eck says they see Bitcoin surpassing or getting up to $180,000 this cycle. So we've been getting a lot of bullishness and a lot of bullish entities, a lot of big bullish corporations and companies coming out with these type of predictions over the past few months. And now with Bitcoin rising above 90K, we get a little pullback right now, but with it rising above 90K, we're going to see a lot more. We're going to see a lot more, and I think the party is just getting started. I definitely agree that we're just getting started. I don't predict us going to a certain number. I predict we're going to pass 100K, but when it comes to close to 200, 300, 400, I do think we'll get there one day, but I don't think we're going to get there those super high numbers fairly soon. I do not think that. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to look at some Bitcoin charts. We're going to look at the Bitcoin dominance. Altcoins are pulling back a little bit. Meme coins had their run yesterday, so we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to focus strictly on Bitcoin fundamentals and some news that came out and what I'm looking at in the immediate short term for Bitcoin. So before we get into the charts, let's also look at this. It says that just in US spot Bitcoin ETFs now on 1.7 million Bitcoin. So that is a whole lot of money. So if you want to know who's in the spot, who has these spot Bitcoin ETFs, we have iShares, Bitcoin Trust, we have Grayscale, Fidelity, ARK 21 shares, Bitwise, Van Eck, who we just talked about, Franklin Bitcoin, so that's Franklin Templeton, CoinShares, Invesco, Galaxy, Wisdom Tree, and Grayscale, and that totals to the 1.7 million Bitcoins that they own. So the inflows have been going crazy these past couple weeks, or pretty much these past couple days, but really the past couple weeks, it's really started to ramp up rather, especially after the election. So this is looking like another way. I was a little bit weary of how this would play out or how the ETFs would play out. I thought a lot of people would just, buy regular Bitcoin or buy spot Bitcoin from exchange and hold it themselves. But it's looking like people are using these ETFs. People are going into these ETFs to buy Bitcoin, to get exposure to Bitcoin, which is fine because they do have to theoretically buy Bitcoin in order to back it, back that ETF. So the actual ETF issuers are supposed to be buying actual Bitcoin to actually back that ETF. So it's a win-win, it's a win-win. So hopefully this can continue. And I do think we are going to surpass 100,000, possibly at the end of the month going into December. But even if we get pullbacks, I think pullbacks are a gift right now. And, these companies are going to just keep talking their book. They're going to keep talking their book, and they're going to keep praising Bitcoin as long as it keeps going up and as long as they're making a lot of money, because they are making a lot of money off those fees as these ETFs ramp up. So let's actually go into the Bitcoin chart now. So Bitcoin is having trouble breaking and holding above this 90 to 91K area. So that's the part, or that's the resistance that I'm looking at right now for Bitcoin. We were in this ascending triangle, so to say, and we popped up and then we quickly got rejected. This was yesterday. We got up to, I think, 93.5, got rejected, tried to pop back above again, and then we had this huge 4-hour candle, this huge bearish 4-hour candle to put us back into this pattern, which we have the top side coming in at about 90K. And then we have this upper sloping trend line right now coming in at about 87 to 85, 87.3 to 87.5 thousand. So it's a couple paths that I'm looking at. We don't have too much structure because we just was up only for like 5, 6, 7 days for like a week straight. We were just up only, so we didn't build too much structure to the left of us. So basically, I mean, I really want to just, break out of here, hold that as support, and continue our way back up to these new highs past 93.5 upwards to about 95 to 105K. That's the short-term top for me that I'm looking at. A lot of people saying it fall short of 100K. Me personally, I think it's going to go past 100,000, probably somewhere. I'm not making any predictions, but probably somewhere, in this area here, probably 105 to 110, and then we'll get some sort of probably some sort of major pullback, or we could just keep just going up. Like like with Bitcoin, you never know. With Bitcoin, you never know. So I'm not going to try to make any predictions. I'm just going to be prepared for a few scenarios, and if my scenario doesn't play out, my A, B, or C scenario doesn't play out, then I'll reevaluate when the time comes. But what also I am looking at, let me actually do this to the downside. I'll be looking at something like I need to put my keyboard back in front of me. I'll be looking at something like, we just keep moseying along, losing this upward sloping trend line, this red upward sloping trend line. Of course, retesting it, back testing it to make sure it is going to be held as resistance, and then ultimately making our way back down. And I have a target of about 82 to 83K, give or take, coming back down. And then if we get a major correction, I got around 76 to 78K. And we do see this volume node, this big volume gap here. And then we have this volume node coming in, like I said, around, we'll say about 76 to 77,000. So we really want to hold, like, everything I'm looking at, all these lines, these imaginary magical lines that I'm drawing is coming in confluence with these these volume bars, these volume nodes, and these volume gaps. So even if I didn't have this up and I'm just drawing this, and then I look to my right and I see my volume, my volume profiles, I'm seeing, okay, I got the confluence here that if we lose this, we have all this space and opportunity, as I like to call it, but we have a little bit, coming in here, like I said, at about 80, 83, 84K. And then ultimately, if we lose that, which we don't have too much because we didn't build that much structure, we'll ultimately be looking for this 75, 76, $77 area. It's hard to call. It's really hard to call, man. It's hard to call because Bitcoin has just been up. So of course it's going to have some sort of pullback or some type of consolidation period. But you just got to be ready. When it cools off, takes a breather. You just position yourself and get ready for the next run. If we get a major pullback, then just use it as a gift, because I think we're going use it as an opportunity, a gift, whatever you want to call it, because I do think we are going much higher. Before we get out of here, I do want to talk about Bitcoin dominance, because this is something that I've been looking at, something that's been on my radar, and something that I'm using in my analysis to get the most bang for my buck. And I'm looking at this Bitcoin dominance. We finally broke back above that 60%. We were hovering down around 58, 59. Finally broke back above the 60%. We got up to about 61 yesterday. And then we're getting a small pullback now. So my ultimate goal, or my ultimate area, is still around 63 to 64, maybe 65%. And then we get that rollover. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I'll just explain this really quick. This is from the bottom of the bear market. Once we got that FTX washout, this is FTX here, and then we started our uptrend. So basically, the bull market to me started when the FTX collapse happened, and then we got our bottom somewhere around our bottom when around October, November 2022, and then we just been in this channel, this uptrend for Bitcoin dominance for the past couple years. So like you see my drawing, what I would like to see is us to hit our head on the top side of the top of this channel, which is coming in with back at January 2021, when we almost got our cycle highs. I think it was like 72% last cycle was the Bitcoin dominant cycle high. So I don't know if we're going to get that high this time. So I'm aiming for like this area here, like I said, about 63 to 65%. So I just pulled that over, and just a nice little horizontal resistance area to get some sort of rejection here for Bitcoin dominance. I mean, it could go up to 70, 72, but I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna aim for this 63 to 65% area, roll over, lose this area here at about 60%, which will also be losing this uptrend. And then I'm looking for a massive alt season as we come down and probably bottoming out somewhere between low 50s to 40s to the 50s, 40s to the 50s for Bitcoin dominance. And I think we'll get a massive altcoin season if we do get that. And if we can just see here, like back in December, February, as the alt started to go up, we saw Bitcoin dominance start to go down, and then Bitcoin dominance peaked, or not peaked, was at the bottom at the last tail end of the 2021 bull run. So once these alts start running hard, we'll see Bitcoin dominance start to come down and probably bottom out somewhere back around 40% to the high, low to mid 40s. I'm guessing if we do something like last cycle. So that's just what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. Nothing too major. Just hopefully we can, if everybody's paying attention, staying in tune to the markets and making sure we're doing our due diligence. And when we have days like this, pullbacks, and when we get altcoins getting nice pullbacks, we see the power of altcoins. We see what they can do. And this is not even the beginning. Like I just showed, when that Bitcoin dominance starts to roll over, I think altcoins are going to go crazy. Not just one or two or a handful of them. I think all of them are going to, or a big chunk of them are going to go crazy. Then another big chunk, then another big chunk, maybe sector to sector, narrative to narrative. I don't know how it's going to go, but I do think it's going to be massive. And if you are in position, if you're taking advantage, if you're sidelined, if you're taking advantage of some of these dips right now, I think you'll be happy within the next few months. So that's just my 2 cents, man. I go by FD White. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I do have a pinned video. Make sure you go watch that with me and Crypto Face. It was a very, very good discussion. I also have a nice discussion with Rob from Digital Asset News. So watch those 2. If you get a couple hours, or if you want to work out and listen to something really good, go make sure you watch those videos and just tune in, man, because I'm dropping a lot of alpha, and we're just gonna keep moving, keep working, and making sure we're trying to stay in tune to the markets. Also over on Piper Academy at night for the Crypto Nightcap, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Like I said, over on Piper Academy, make sure you come over there and check me out as well. So it's FD White. I will talk to you in the next video. Have a good Thursday. Peace.